Recently, we were talking about high school reunions and how they're
Probably.
every 10 years and how much can you really change in 10 years. And then you actually said that you
Ah,
thought you had quite a bit.
I think that so much of it has changed. A lot of people go through a varying degree of experience in their life, but I think most people just kind of move on and don't ever take time to assess and what you could maybe do with that. When I took time to actually do that myself, it led me into a complete career change at, 38 years old and moving from building custom cars and motorcycle parts and doing artwork and photography into spending my time trying to alleviate some pain and pressure from families that are experiencing it in the worst ways, especially with families that have dying children. Those are really, really difficult things to go through, especially if you feel like you're by yourself. And knowing that through my own experiences, I felt like that would probably be the best way to use that understanding and put my effort into kind of helping alleviate that pain or that stress, or, just doing whatever you can to make it a little easier on them. So I would say the last 10 years did quite a bit for me, which I'm sure you've heard some of those stories.
I mean, you've been to some really exciting places.
About 10 years ago, my cell phone was ringing, and it was this guy from the Middle East with like the strongest accent I've ever heard. Is this Jay? I was like, oh my God, yeah, who's this? I'm so-and-so. I'm in Dubai, and I have a plane ticket leaving for you today, coming to Bahrain. So 36 hours later, we touched down in the Middle East. The king and his son, Sheikh Salman and Sheikh Salman, were some of the nicest, most welcoming people, which still to this day, I use that experience as reference for myself. But I can always go back to how the guy who's the king of a whole country took me into his house and gave me the same dinner he was eating and spoke to me and treated me as an equal the whole time. To me, that's like a big lesson that you should learn and maybe try to mimic yourself. And one of the greatest nuggets of information I took from that dinner with the king was I had heard that a lady broke down on the freeway in Bahrain and the king's motorcade was driving by and the king made them stop and he got out and he talked to the lady and she was driving this old Mercedes and he said, don't worry about it. And he had someone in his motorcade drive her to a Mercedes dealership and buy her a brand new S-Class top-of-the-line Mercedes. Just take it. And I asked the king about that. And I said, you're very generous from what I understand. Like if you're born in this country, you get land and money. And he said that if all the wealth he has is a teacup, he just gives away what spills over the sides. Now that I'm in the business of philanthropy, I guess, it's hard to tell or suggest someone what they should give as far as a dollar amount. And it's not fair to either, really. Someone could give you everything they have, but then they're in a horrible situation. So, how do you ever go about explaining how someone should give? And I think that saying from the king is something that, like, I'll always, like, apply to myself or suggest other people do. You don't have to give everything, but, give what you would spill over the sides, just kind of a little bit.
Sounds like you've had some aha moments here
Oh,
working in hospice and
yeah.
raising
And
money. And
I feel like what I do now is a type of soulful work. You sleep easier at the end of the night, knowing that, you spent your day trying to help people make their lives a little bit easier. Yeah. Impactful is almost not strong enough a word, I don't think. I would say it's helped me almost rewire my brain into a different way of thinking and taking on the world. I don't really have much to hide about myself, but having you here to keep it going made it seem like it was the easiest thing ever. So
I
thank
do
you.
have a face. Thank you.